Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are jumping right into the Cardano ecosystem because it feels like a perfect storm of positive news is brewing. We're talking about stuff happening everywhere, from Washington, D.C., all the way to Wall Street, and of course, with the developers building on the ground. This quote right here, it really nails the excitement that's in the air. And, this isn't just hype. We're seeing a story unfold on multiple fronts all at the same time, which is exactly why there's so much energy around this project right now. It's how all these different things are coming together that could be a really big deal. Okay, so first up, let's talk about a massive potential change that's brewing in the US. This could literally change the game for every single person holding crypto, and it all starts with staking. Now, for anyone who's kind of new to this, staking is basically the backbone of how networks like Cardano stay secure. You, the user, help validate transactions by locking up your assets, and in return, you get rewarded for it. It's absolutely core to how this whole thing works. So check this out. Here's a really simple breakdown of a proposal from a recent Senate hearing that could be a total game changer. The old way, the way it is now, means your staking rewards get taxed as income right when you earn them, and then they get hit again with a capital gains tax when you sell. This new proposal? It would finally get rid of that whole double taxation headache. And why does this matter so much? Well, for the average person, it just makes the accounting side of things way, way simpler. But for the market as a whole, this could unlock a flood of new money and make the entire US crypto scene way more competitive on the world stage. It's a pretty big deal. And all this good news on the big picture front is being met with some seriously strategic moves from inside the Cardano ecosystem. We're talking about major partnerships, especially when it comes to getting different blockchains to talk to each other, which has been a huge goal for a long time. So first, there's this groundbreaking partnership that's trying to solve one of the biggest, oldest problems in crypto. How do you get different blockchains to communicate with each other without it being a total mess, or worse, a security risk? Well, Cardano is partnering up with NEAR Protocol. This is going to let users do frictionless swaps across more than 20 different blockchains. That means you get access to over 100 assets, and we're talking about the heavy hitters here. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, you name it. And the best part? It does all this without needing those complex bridges. The things that always seem to get hacked. All right, next up is another huge collaboration. This one is all about privacy, and it involves teaming up with one of the absolute biggest names in the entire tech world. Yeah, this is a serious move toward the mainstream. The Midnight Foundation, they're all about advanced privacy tech, is now working with Google Cloud. Google is going to help run the infrastructure, provide top-of-the-line data protection, and they're even offering up to $200,000 in credits for startups that are building in this ecosystem. That's huge. These tech partnerships are awesome for sure, but the momentum isn't just happening in the developer world. It's also getting noticed, once again, by the folks in traditional finance. And this one is big. After being removed before because of regulatory stuff, Cardano's asset ADA has officially been added back into a major U.S. exchange-traded fund, the Hashdex NASDAQ Crypto Index. So you might be wondering, why is getting back into a big ETF and exchange-traded fund such a big deal for Cardano? It really comes down to two things: access and legitimacy. An ETF is like a simple, regulated bridge for traditional investors. We're talking retirement funds, big money managers, to get exposure to Cardano without having to buy and hold the asset themselves. It makes it so much more accessible, signals that regulators are getting more comfortable, and importantly, it could pave the way for a standalone Cardano ETF sometime in the future. A lot of this interest from Wall Street comes from the real tangible progress that's happening on the ground. So let's dive down from that high-level finance news and get right into the engine room, because the pace of development is seriously picking up. Over in the world of DeFi, or decentralized finance, we're seeing some really strong growth. For example, Strike Finance is hitting around $5 million in daily volume. The lending platform Surf has locked up 13.5 million ADA in total value locked. That's a key number showing how healthy a platform is. And Surge's fund is growing steadily. These are all signs of a really healthy, maturing DeFi scene on Cardano. Then you've got the metaverse. The project Cornucopias just finished its first big land grab, and wow, the turnout was massive. The final count? Over 7,000 digital plots of land were bought up by almost 1,500 different people. That shows a huge demand for virtual real estate in this ecosystem. And here's one that really helps bridge the digital world with the real world: Tokeo Wallet just announced that they finished their toughest milestone yet, full integration with Mastercard. This is a critical piece of the puzzle if we're ever going to use crypto for real-world spending. I mean, this brings us one giant leap closer to the day where you can just use your crypto to buy a coffee or pay for groceries. It really makes you stop and think, what would be the first thing you'd buy with it? So when you take a step back and look at all these different pieces together, the regulation, the finance stuff, the development, a really clear and honestly powerful picture starts to take shape. Look, it's not just one piece of good news. This is growth happening on multiple layers at the same time, and each layer is making the others stronger. You've got positive regulatory news making it easier to invest, which happens while powerful partnerships are expanding the tech, which in turn gets Wall Street's attention. And all of it is fueled by an ecosystem that is just firing on all cylinders. And that kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about. With this incredible feedback loop of momentum building on so many fronts, which of these areas do you think is going to be the most important for defining what's next for Cardano? Is it the regulation, the big money adoption, the tech innovation, or is it the grassroots developers building the future? It's a lot to consider.